Despite the best work of investigators, sometimes people just vanish without a trace. Even in the modern age of CCTV footage, DNA evidence, and social media, it's still possible for circumstances to align to allow someone to mysteriously disappear, leaving behind a string of clues for their searching friends and family. In these cases, police must piece together limited evidence to try and understand the missing person's activities and where they might have gone, if it's even possible to find out that much at all. Number 5. On March 30th, 2011, 43-year-old Claxton Mayo was in a terrible car accident. Claxton, who went by his middle name Mark, was driving on Interstate 20 just outside of Monroe, Louisiana, when the accident occurred. Mark's Chevrolet Suburban flipped 3 times before coming to a stop on the road. Luckily for Mark, he was able to escape the flipped vehicle and travel on foot to a nearby truck stop, which sources place either in Ouachita or Bienville Parish. Surveillance video at the truck stop captured Mark going into the building. According to reports, he had visible injuries that could be clearly seen on the harrowing footage, which has not been released to the public. However, although Mark was seen entering the truck stop, he was never captured on video exiting the building. From there, the case went cold, and he was never seen again. Investigators were baffled by this unusual turn of events. How could a man vanish from within a surveyed building? The primary theory put forth is that Mark may have left from a back exit, normally used only by truck drivers. This exit was not actively recorded. If he did exit this way, he probably would have been with a truck driver. However, no one came forward to say that they saw the injured man. Reports about Mark's accident suggest that he may have suffered a head wound when his car flipped. It is possible that due to this wound he was disoriented or unable to find his way home. Some theorize that Mark may be suffering from amnesia. Tragically, very little information is available online about Mark, either before or after the accident. A Reddit commenter who claims to have been a high school classmate of his did share that Mark was an athlete in school who played football and rode ATVs. Public records also have uncovered the names of Mark's parents, Claxton and Carolyn Mayo. Carolyn passed away in 2017 without ever getting closure for what happened to her son. Mark's case is still open with local law enforcement. There have been competing accounts of which precinct is handling his file. Anyone with information is asked to call the Webster Parish Sheriff's Office at 318-377-1515 or the Bienville Parish Sheriff's Office at 318-544-8782, or even the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office at 504-363-5500. Number 4. Gina N Fariolo was close with her dog, a brown and white mixed breed named Kaya. Gina and Kaya were so close, in fact, that when Gina and her fiancé lost their home and moved into a red pickup truck, Kaya lived in the truck with them. Although the family had recently fallen on hard times, their love for each other was clear. Gina and her fiancé, Wellington Thompson, had been together since at least 2015. Wellington, who goes by Ricky, posted regularly on his Facebook page about his love for the slight 5-foot-tall Gina, who was often seen in photos with her hair braided and wearing colorful lipstick. In a video taken sometime in the months leading up to her disappearance, Gina is on screen smiling while Ricky says, quote, "I think you're the most beautiful woman in the world. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." She's leaning on the red Toyota pickup and seems relaxed and happy. Not long after the video was taken, Gina went missing. On November 23rd, 2021, she, Kaya, and Ricky were at a Buc-ee's gas station in Daytona Beach. Gina went to a field north of the store to walk Kaya while Ricky went inside. Ricky saw her at about 2 p.m. before he went into the store. When he came out, she was gone. Ricky wasn't too concerned at first. He knew Kaya needed a walk, and he figured Gina had just traveled out of his line of sight. She had the keys to the pair's pickup truck, so he waited by the car. After about half an hour, he started to get nervous and began walking the area looking for Gina. He didn't see her, and for the next few hours, he continued to look while intermittently returning to the car to see if she had come back. She never turned up. Gina and her dog Kaya had disappeared without a trace in broad daylight. At around 7 p.m. on November 23rd, Ricky contacted the police to report Gina missing. Investigators tried all the usual routes, including pinging Gina's phone and checking local hospitals and roads, but with no success. Within a week, Kaya was found without a leash or collar, wandering the streets of nearby Margaritaville. However, there was no sign of her owner. Ricky continued to be active on Facebook, sharing posts on his personal page, as well as in missing person groups for the Central Florida region. In fact, he posted regularly throughout April of 2022, when, like Gina, he seemed to suddenly go missing without a trace as well. His last post, dated April 23rd, reads, "Baby, you're on my mind every day. It's been 5 months since you've been missing. My heart and soul aches without you. I love you, Gina Fariolo. #GinaStrong." Comments on this and other posts indicate that Ricky's Facebook friends have not been able to reach him since May. Daytona Beach investigators have not shared any leads on Gina's case, and without updates from Ricky, not much information is available without her. However, investigators do have an open case for her, and are hopeful that the public will share tips or information about her whereabouts. Anyone with details about the missing woman can contact Detective Jason Wallace with the Daytona Beach PD at 386-671-5207 or Wallace Jason at dbpd.us regarding case number 2100-21809. Number 3. Rita Giri's missing person case has baffled investigators for over 20 years since she went missing in 2001. Her ex-husband, Benak Giri, is the prime suspect in her mysterious disappearance. But due to a wild confluence of international and circumstantial factors, investigators have been unable to hold him accountable for the crime he may have committed. Rita, a native of Albania, moved to the United States in her childhood. Her legal name was Aferdita, but those who knew her called her Rita or Gina. They called her husband Kola. Rita and Kola married in 1987 and had 2 children together, a son and a daughter. The duo's relationship was tumultuous and violent, and they legally divorced in 1999. Despite being the perpetrator in the attack, though, Kola had custody of his children with Rita. On February 25, 2001, Rita went to meet Kola at the Showcase Cinema in Auburn Hills, Michigan. She told her sister she wanted to discuss custody issues. According to some reports, Rita had been seeking more access to her kids. Although Kola had physical custody, both shared legal child custody. He was angry at Rita and worried she might take them away, and even went so far as to threaten her life if she made a move to do so. Rita's family later told investigators that she was afraid of Kola and always met him in a public place. On the night of February 25th, the movie theater's security cameras captured her pulling up, getting out of her car, and getting into another car, presumably Kola's. For approximately half an hour, nothing happens. Then the second car drives away with Rita and another person inside. Rita was reported missing the following day when she failed to show up for work. Her locked car was located still in the theater parking lot, with her purse, keys, and cell phone inside. Although Kola was not visible on the footage, Rita had told her sister that's who she was going to meet, and he was immediately the primary suspect in her disappearance. However, shortly after Rita went missing, he fled the country, leaving his children behind in the US. Police struggled to gather enough evidence to extradite Kola from Kosovo, a small Balkan country to which he's known to have fled. In 2002, he was charged with assault for allegedly beating Rita in 1998. However, Kosovo declined to extradite him to face the charge. In 2011, he was charged in the US and arrested in Kosovo for Rita's murder, but again, he was not extradited. He was released within a year, and finally in 2019, he was arrested once more, and it sounded like he might actually be returned to Michigan to face charges. Before Kola could be held accountable though, he took his own life while incarcerated in Kosovo. Sadly, he'll no longer be able to explain his role in Rita's disappearance. Despite this though, investigators in Michigan are continuing to work on the case. In 2020, police executed a search warrant at a restaurant in Detroit, formerly owned by Cola. The Auburn Hills Deputy Police Chief Ryan Gagnon said that there is reason to believe that Rita may have been buried at the restaurant at some point. Investigators dug up a portion of the basement floor but ultimately found no evidence. Chief Gagnon says that the police will continue to search for Rita, and anyone with information should contact the Auburn Hills Police Department. They can be reached at 248-370-9444. Number 2. 29-year-old Rory Johnson Hatfield was enjoying a night out in the city of York, an area he knew well. The young man, who worked with his father to run the family's restaurant in the town of Skipton, reportedly loved to visit the metropolis of York to cut loose and celebrate with his friends. He was in good spirits as he took the train into the city to see the metropolis's annual Christmas lights turned on, an event which draws thousands of tourists. Rory was booked in to stay at the York Central Travelodge on Piccadilly Street with his friends. On November 19, 2015, the social young man had met a pair of other hotel guests with whom he'd been drinking and celebrating. At around midnight, he stopped in at the hotel before leaving again around 12:15 with just one other man. The duo walked to a nearby pub, but Rory quickly left at about 12:30. This was the last anyone would see of him. CCTV footage from several surveillance cameras has allowed investigators to put together a comprehensive timeline of some of the missing persons' movements after 12:30. At 12:32, Rory can be seen with his friend walking along Tower Street. 6 minutes later, at 12:38, a different camera captured him alone, crossing Skeldergate Bridge and exiting York City Center. Finally, a few minutes later, he's seen on camera outside of City Mills Flats on the other side of the river. Rory is alone in the last two clips, but he doesn't seem especially distressed. Some sources report he may have been running. However, the video footage that's been released shows him walking normally through fairly quiet streets. Although it's not visible on the video, sources report that Rory would have had to scale a 6-foot wall to access the balcony area outside of City Mills Flats where he was last seen. In addition, the area overhangs a river, and some have speculated that he may have fallen in or chosen to enter the river. Searches of the river by humans and canine teams turned up no evidence of Rory. However, due to flood conditions in November of 2015, searches have been called off and resumed multiple times. In addition to police searches, the York rescue boat also trawled both rivers in York, with no success. No evidence of Rory has been found in the rivers or anywhere else in the city. Although police investigation has focused on the river, Rory's family continues to hope that he may be out there somewhere. It's been 7 years since his disappearance. His family and loved ones continue to post regularly in a Facebook group dedicated to Rory, called Rory Johnson Hatfield is Missing. His cold case also remains open with the York police. Anyone with information about Rory's whereabouts is urged to contact North Yorkshire Police by dialing 101 and referencing case number 121-502-07141. Tipsters can also text the charity Missing People at 116000 and reference case number 15009-621. Number 1. A recent missing person case that continues to baffle investigators has made headlines out of Platteville, Wisconsin, a college town in the southwestern portion of the state. 34-year-old Ronald Henry was last seen on December 5, 2022. His family and loved ones are actively working with investigators to raise awareness and search for their missing companion. Ronald grew up in Milwaukee with 7 siblings. His mother, Tanya, told investigators that he was the life of the party, a young man who's considered to be fun to be around and loves helping others. Similarly, his girlfriend of 7 months, Alicia, says he would light up the room when he walked in. Ronald lives with his younger brother in Milwaukee and does farm work that sometimes requires him to travel around the region. On December 1st, he took a 2-hour Greyhound bus to Platteville to work on a farm for some extra cash. Ronald had worked at this particular farm before and was friends with the owners. He planned to stay there for a few weeks before returning on December 17th. Ronald checked in with his mother on the evening of December 3rd and was also in regular contact with his girlfriend. According to Alicia, she last spoke to him around midnight on Sunday, December 4th. The pair quickly checked in when Ronald got home and agreed to talk the following day. However, when Ronald failed to call on the 5th, Alicia wasn't too worried. She said they'd gotten into a minor fight on Sunday and she thought he might have needed some time to cool off. But by Tuesday, she was concerned. Alicia started reaching out to Ronald's friend at the farm. He told her that he'd seen Ronald late Sunday night after he got home, up until about 3:30 a.m. But when the friend woke up the following morning, Ronald wasn't there. Alicia also reached out to Ronald's family before ultimately reporting him missing on Wednesday, December 7th. The following afternoon, the Grant County Sheriff's Office in Lancaster, Wisconsin, reported that they'd conducted a drone, helicopter, and canine search for Ronald with no success. As of January, investigators are now focused on interviewing Ronald's contacts in the Platteville area. They've also released a still of CCTV footage that shows Ronald in the days before he went missing. In the image, he's wearing a red baseball hat, black pants and black shoes, and a bulky blue jacket. The Grant County Sheriff told reporters that authorities haven't been able to rule anything out, including the potential for foul play. The case remains open, and investigators from the Wisconsin State of Criminal Investigation have now joined the search along with the local sheriff's office. Anyone with information about Ronald's whereabouts is asked to contact the sheriff's office at 608-723-2157. In addition, Alicia has created a Facebook page for Ronald, where information and photos are centralized. The page is called Find Ronald Henry with 2 exclamation marks. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.